Another appearance on this program for one of my favorites from one of my favorite shows, Veep. Again, we had Sam Richardson on yesterday. Veep is going to be on HBO this very Sunday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time in its final season. Mr. Tony Hale, two-time Emmy
And
Award
you told
winner.
me Sam busted up his knee.
He did. Did you not know that?
I did not know that. And he did it weightlifting or something?
He said, what did he say it was? It was
he was squatting.
He was barbell squatting.
So, okay.
All right, now this is good. This is good. This is good.
We'll have that discussion.
Let's have this discussion. Because, look, I'd never met him before.
Oh, he's the nicest man.
I know. He is.
Yeah.
So then let's talk ill of him. Because I don't know if that... Because, again, if I blew out my knee and I just, like, tripped on something, I would say, I was barbell pressing.
Yeah,
and,
he slipped in an ice cream shop or something like that.
How realistic is it to...
No, it's probably very realistic.
Does he work out on the set? I mean, do you know if he's got a regimen?
No, I don't. I mean, I'm sure he does.
Okay.
The picture of him squatting with a barbell and blowing out his knee, it's just funny to me. It's just funny. I mean, I'm gonna be giving him a call later. I do have some questions though. Can I get to my questions?
Yes, you may.
Okay, when you guys were talking before, there's two words that were mentioned that were disturbing to me.
Okay.
One definitely was disturbing. The other one was confusing.
Okay.
The word offloading.
Yes.
Is that a popular in the sports glossary?
Well,
is that a popular term?
Would you say off? Well, you offload something. I forget. Honestly, I don't remember the context in which I said it.
Somebody was offloaded. Which, come on, who wants to be told that? Obviously, that's like rejection to another team, I assume.
Well, you've been offloaded off a program or something.
That alone. That's a dark term.
Well, it's funny as well that there has been.
It might have been about Josh Rosen.
Oh yeah, they got to offload him.
I love that you just talked about this and you don't remember.
Offload.
Yes, that the current quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals is about to lose his job because there's going to be a new kid drafted, and they must then offload him.
Let me tell you right now, fired is a softer term than offloaded.
Is that right?
Really?
Yeah. And I just poked my nose with the mic. I mean, it's like, I'm sorry, we're going to have to let you go. I'm sorry, you're offloaded.
That
I'm going to throw you off the truck.
Well, it's funny, too, that there has been this year, by the way, you can back me up on this, Chris. There has been a new term that I had never heard before, and it is in relation to NBA players when they are rested. Over the last several years, players would just sit out games, and they, like, say LeBron James would sit out a game in a town where he's only going through once, and the fans who bought their tickets to see LeBron James were so upset. So they came up with a term that when they rest the player, it's definitely, it's for health reasons, and the term is load management.
All right, well, let's break that down. So you're saying when somebody is hurt?
No, I don't think.
But when somebody gets in trouble?
Well, no. When they're rested, when they just need they need to take a game off.
Need a day off.
They're saying that LeBron James is not playing tonight, and the reason why, because you have to give a term on an injury report, load management.
God, I don't even know how to break that down. Like the load they're carrying, I guess, trying to manage that load.
It could be. Yeah.
But didn't you say something if they got in trouble or if they were?
No, it's nothing to do with being in trouble. It's load management. Again, load is a charged word potentially.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. There's a lot of definitions to that. But why would they not just to say, hey, let's give him a rest? Because is that like too emasculating or something?
No. I think it's just it first of all makes too much sense. Secondly, is that a fan, if they're told LeBron James is resting tonight, like, I paid so much money for these tickets. My kids have been waiting to see LeBron James.
Yeah.
I show up and he's resting.
Oh yeah.
But if it's
that
like,
makes sense.
It's to say, well, kids, LeBron James isn't playing tonight. It's a load management problem, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God.
And God forbid they say like soul management or something like spiritual. That would piss everybody off.
So there he is in his civilian clothes.
He's managing his soul,
doing some sort of tantric meditation.
So here's my other question.
Yes.
Who's Littlefinger?
Okay. So
all right.
He's a character in Game of Thrones. Do you not watch Game of Thrones?
I don't watch Game of Thrones. Oh.
You're an HBO guy, Tony.
I know I should be in the witness protection program for not watching Game of Thrones. People, here's the thing.
What?
I watched the first episode. They pushed a kid out the window, and I was like, I'm out. I can't.
It does.
And I know it gets worse.
It gets worse.
Let's go down here.
That's very tame.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
tame.
And they started like those white dogs or something like that started, hurting them. And I heard all about the red wedding and everybody lost the red wedding. It's like, I'll watch CNN and be just as depressed. There's a lot. I know it's a great show and I know people love it, but it's a lot visually, the sound design, all that blood squirting and every stuff like that. It's a lot to hear.
So you just that's it.
Yeah.
You're one and done.
But
on
I'm
Game of
also the
Thrones.
guy, I don't see horror movies. Who wants to go see Paranormal Activity? Don't get it. Don't mess with that. Oh, sorry. I should Stuff. Don't mess with it.
Yeah, stuff.
Well, just because it's like, I'm not the guy that's going to see something like that and be like, I'm going to have a nice sleep.
I know.
I'm going to be like, something's coming after me.
Yeah, I'm not into that either.
Yeah,
by the way.
I don't get it. There's enough fear in society to put yourself through that, and violence in society. By the way,
true. Game of Thrones is a different story, though. I mean,
listen, I know it's a wonderful show. It's a lot visually.
It is.
It's a lot,
and it's going to deliver a hell of a rating to Veep on Sunday night.
Yes, it is, and I'm very thankful for it. I'm very thankful for GOT.
There you go. Nice. Now you use it.
That's the one lingo I know.
You got it. Yeah.
But people do love it, and it is
They
fantastic.
do.
But who is Littlefinger?
Littlefinger. Did you watch The Wire? Did you ever watch The Wire?
Again, come on.
Oh my gosh.
He's
a character. He's the same
Now,
actor
keep in
from-
mind, my wife watches all of these shows.
So you don't participate.
But here's I'm also the guy that I would watch if The Office got uncomfortable. I would go to the kitchen. I'm just like, just fire the guy. Just get rid of him. Why is he still in the office?
They could offload him.
Exactly.
Right,
just
they could
offload the guy.
That's on the next episode of The Office.
Yeah,
they offload. So
Yeah.
what? Tony Hale here on the Rich Eisen Show. What do you watch?
I watch a lot of YouTube.
Okay.
I don't mind watching people get scared. Like the most recent one is I watched. You know how Ellen sends those people through a haunted house?
Sure.
I think that's really funny. And I think that's really. I don't want to go through a haunted house.
Right.
I mean, who wants people jumping out at them?
But watching people react.
I think that's
to
funny.
it.
I do think that's funny. I also watch a lot of compilation videos. I watch soldiers coming home to their dogs. I think it's really makes me cry.
Okay, so you see.
And then what else do I watch? I always watch, The Voice, but I only want to see when people win. So it's.
So you
want the greatest possible experience.
No, but it's like, like when, if they have a good blind audition and the family freaks out in the end.
Yeah.
I think that's really joyful to watch. So I like those, but I don't want to see anybody rejected. So I don't want to see the bad stuff.
American Ninja Warrior. Do you watch any of that?
I have seen that with my daughter. My daughter and I have seen that.
My kids can't.
It's
can't
a little
get enough of it.
intimidating.
So
I mean, it's kind
you
of like.
don't have to go through it.
I mean,
we
that's
all
like-
know that we're not the warrior or we don't have any
Man,
ninja.
that's a lot of CrossFit. But yeah,
By the way,
a lot
that
of
is a ton of CrossFit.
But like beyond CrossFit.
Oh, of
just
course.
like who climbs. Have you seen Free Solo?
Yes.
I have seen Free Solo. Have you seen it?
It's the scariest thing ever.
How many people saw Free Solo not knowing what it is? They thought it was about Han and the carbonite back in the day, and they thought it was something to do with Star Wars.
Probably
And
have.
then,
I'm sure.
And then they're all like, "What is this thing?"
Probably have.
Okay, so
I
you're
have
into
seen Free
that.
Solo.
You're into those
That
type of
made-
documentaries.
This is a side note, but that made me think when I worked at this thing it was like a Nautilus museum in Virginia Beach. It was one of my first jobs called Nautilus, and people thought it was a water park, and they showed up in their bathing suits, and they were very pissed off because it was a
I
museum.
remember when workout places were referred to as a Nautilus.
Yeah.
That was
Anyways,
a long time
that was
ago.
a side note.
What do you mean you worked there? What did you do?
I was
What's
the
a
nutty
nau-
professor who
Hold on a
came
minute.
out and did science experiments for the kids. And it was a summer job, and it was called Nautilus. It was a great job, but it had just opened, and it was a water, experience, and people thought it was a water park. And all these kids, it was just incredibly disappointing.
So, were you looking after the kids when people were working out, or is that what that was?
No, it wasn't a workout thing. It was like a aquarium / touch the eel, that kind of a thing, like an
okay.
aquarium experience. But people thought it was a water park. Anyways, that was a little ADD moment. But what were you saying before?
Do you watch Veep?
Yes, I do watch Veep. But I only watch my scenes on loop. No, I'm kidding.
That's really. But do you? So you do watch?
I do love it. I do love because it's. Yes, I do.
Okay.
Again, it's because it's. I mean, it's a funny show. The language is definitely rough.
It is that.
And Jonah Ryan, Tim Simons plays him. He gets the worst insults.
So
I think one time somebody said to him,
Careful.
Oh, I won't say that. I won't say the bad ones.
All right.
But said you have a weird shape to him once. I think he was called Cloud Disturber because he's so tall. He was called, and I'll beep this out, but he was called Frankenstein if Frankenstein was made entirely of dead D's. Which, come on,
those
that's
ad-lib?
just
Are those
good.
ad-libbed,
That
or-
was actually ad-libbed by Zach Woods. There's a really bad one that I won't say. There's actually several really bad ones I
you
won't
can't
say.
say. That's the beauty. That's
Yeah, I was called a bitchy mime. I was also called Cow Eyes. Which is kind of true. So you have to have a thick skin.
Oh my gosh! So then you improv and then you just use whatever sticks. Is that the?
Obviously, we improv to just hurt each other.
Obviously,
Just find the
just get
most
through it.
insecurity and just point it out.
Is Arrested Development the same way?
No, that's I don't. Well, Buster definitely get. What did he get? Well, he was just kind of a. He was.
Yeah.
He was just in a state of paralysis all this. I think he was completely checked out. He wouldn't have heard it if somebody said it to him.
Right. Now you have heard the Liza Minnelli story we have on the show. We have hit this story before, right?
Yes. Yeah. When she took my wife and I out to lunch.
No, the one that he told you the
drove.
last time that he drove her.
I drove for the month.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
We did talk about
Dropped
this.
her off at whose house did you drop her
Scott
off?
Baio's.
That's right.
Sure.
What's the lunch
That
story?
tracks.
What's the that tracks? What's your lunch story with Liza?
She took my wife and I out to lunch. She's, by the way, a lovely woman.
Amazing.
Right? Amazing woman. And she.
Because I just want to make sure that she really is. That's not a caveat.
No.
No.
She's a fantastic woman.
All due respect
But she took us.
situation.
She started talking about this concert she was doing at Radio City Music Hall, and I didn't know her music. And she's sitting in the back seat, chain smoking, and she goes, "Well, I'll sing you a song," and started belting out the song "Liza with a Z" in the back seat of my car. And the best thing is she had heard it so much she could hear the orchestration, so she'd go, "Liza with a Z, ba-da-ba-ba-bam." And I was like, this is the best moment of my life. People either thought she was Joyce DeWitt from Three's Company, my mother, or an impersonator of herself.
Oh.
When we would go out.
I
Yeah.
did not think that was really Liza Minnelli.
No, and she would, the best thing, I've said this, when she would sit in a chair, oh man, I loved everything about her. And she would tell me stories about her mom and how much she loved her mom.
Yeah.
But the way she would sit in a chair was like nobody else. She would sit like this, like she was just about to break into cabaret at any moment.
It's true.
I know. And I was
would-
like, please break out into cabaret.
So that's how she would just sit in a chair in
she
a
was,
restaurant?
because she's just ready. She's always ready. She's a dancer. And she's always got stories. And this is the great thing. Her stories never came from a place of ego. They just came from a place of like, listen to my life, you know? And I was just like, keep talking. You know? She was great.
I
miss her.
Right. It's so rare that she could just tell these childhood stories about.
She was raised on the MGM lot.
Right.
That's where she grew up.
Yeah, I was raised in Staten Island, New York. There was nothing like that.
Yeah,
Tallahassee, Florida.
Maine, nope.
Bam.
You're from Tallahassee?
Yeah.
The home of Florida State University?
Yes. Actually, speaking of Southern sports, am I talking too long?
No.
Okay.
Tony Hale here on the Rich Eisen
Speaking
Show.
of Southern sports, you'll appreciate this. My niece got married this past weekend. It was my wife's niece. So I guess that means it's my niece as well. Yes.
Yes.
And we were at the wedding, and there was a big crisis because Auburn was playing
Yes, in the Final Four.
in the Final Four of Virginia.
Yes.
Okay.
Look at you.
And,
This is fantastic.
Tony Hale.
I had to learn because when we would go, I'd hear like, we're winning. I was like, when you say we're, let's just break this down. But there was a lot of phone calls for the wedding that were like, I just want to know, do you guys have a TV at the reception? Like people were very, very scared that they were going to miss the game.
Was there?
And they had one on the on the second floor of this barn, and everybody gathered for the game.
A barn? Like an actual
so
barn?
all of the collard greens and shrimps and grits and barbecue were on this first floor, and they had this TV on the second floor that they watched the Auburn, Virginia game.
Did you watch the game with them?
No. I danced to the band because I felt bad for them. Everybody left.
So you're that guy that feels for the band because everybody's...
Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody, it was just like a mass exodus up to the balcony, and they were just playing their country tunes. So I just danced with them.
Well, and they, I don't know if you noticed at some point that there was all the excitement that an Auburn fan thought the game was over, and then they did not. They were
I do have
sorely disappointed.
Well,
by
I
the end of
probably
that night.
should have asked more questions about this, but towards the end, I felt like there was a lot of confusion of we win, we didn't win, we win, we didn't win.
Correct.
Because wasn't it like at 59-59 or something like that?
Auburn was up by 3.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
With mere seconds to go, Virginia took a shot. They missed it. Auburn won, except for the fact that the winning masked the sound of a whistle calling a foul on the shot, and the kid made 3 free throws.
Oh, that poor kid.
Yeah, right. No, that was the one that they won that game from the free throw line. It was a 2-point game.
It was a 2-point game, and he made all 3. Yeah.
Wow, so it was a massive buzzkill. But you got
It was
so admirable.
But a hell of a wedding. Hell of a wedding.
Hell
Hell of a way to kick that thing off.
But man, to get to that 59-59 like tied at the end, that's
that was a
something
big
to be
stretch
proud
too.
of. Whoever lost.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree,
You're a
Tony.
very
You know what?
positive
There's
person,
too much.
Tony.
There's
Yeah,
too
you're
much of an
very
emphasis
positive.
on winning. Come on, you got there.
It sounds
it's exciting.
sounds like a man who walks out on the uncomfortable parts of the office.
Yes, exactly. Let's just like and be kind. Let's just like each other.
Okay,
Red
let's
wedding.
talk about Veep before I let you go off into this Los Angeles day, sir. I miss it already. Just watching every episode, it's just like
I do
it's
too.
wonderful. It's like eating candy, and then the depression that there's only a certain amount of it that's still remaining.
Yeah,
I wonder
it
how
was-
you are watching this stuff right now.
It's hard, man. I mean, we finished shooting in December, and I'm sure Sam said this as well, but like we really like each other. Like those first 4 years when we were shooting, we shot in Baltimore.
Right.
And so we got really close. We would like go out for drinks after shooting and talk about the day, and then we'd go to Julia's and play cards. As we were away from each other's family, so we became each other's family.
What sort of cards are you playing at Julia?
We played. Oh gosh, it was I forgot what it was called. Because this was 4 years ago.
Okay. But you would play.
Yeah, we'd play
card
cards and drink
game.
wine, and I forgot, and we played it all the time.
No Limit Hold'em? Was it?
No, it wasn't
okay.
that.
Okay. Aces and eights?
No.
Okay.
Excuse me, Mr. Gambling. But it
Dominoes.
was. But we got really close, and
Yes.
so like it was really tough to just say goodbye to the relationships, and also just to do material that you always knew when you got a script it was going to be a lot of surprises and funny, really funny.
It is so funny. It is so very funny. And then, of course, Arrested Development. You've been in some funny stuff, man.
Very thankful. Very thankful.
Absolutely. And tell me about your book. Tell me about your kids'
Oh,
book.
this is really exciting.
Because your first time you were here, you were promoting as well a kid's book, which
Yeah.
you're kind enough to give me to my kids, and they read it.
Thank you for that.
You're
So
very
I did this
welcome.
book with my friends Tony and Victor years ago called Archibald's Next Big Thing, because when I booked Arrested Development, I realized I was still looking to the next thing and missing where I was.
Okay.
And it's that whole thing, if you're going to be so focused on your next adventure, you'll miss the adventure you're on. So then it became a cartoon with my friends Drew and Jake and Eric, and now he's a chicken that is very present and walks into a situation, and he not only sees the best in people, but he sees the best in the situation, and he makes a lot of mistakes, but he knows there's a bigger purpose for the mistake, and it's this attitude towards him. But he's just like incredibly positive, and it's like, man, in our world today, we need a lot more of that. So it's going to be out in the fall on Netflix.
And it's called, what is it
It's
again?
called Archibald's Next Big Thing.
Archibald's Next Big
And in the
Thing.
book, he has this little bee that goes around with him, and it's like, you got to just be, man. You got to just be.
Okay. I like it.
And so it's really, really fun and life-giving, and I'm excited about
Living in the present.
Yeah.
That's good advice, sir.
it. Yeah.
Well-
And I need it too. I struggle with it every day.
Yeah, so do I. Unfortunately, our present is now past because you've got to go.
I know.
So do you guys have to go too over there?
Yeah, we gotta
I mean,
bounce.
everybody's leaving.
I love it. He just goes, yeah, I gotta get
I know
out of here.
everybody's leaving. Veep on HBO Sunday nights at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you for the laughs, sir. Not just in this
Thank
segment,
you for-
but with Veep and Arrested
Thank you
Development.
for being such a support, man.
Anytime.
I love that you
Please.
watched it.
Thank you.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.